morning. I'm Joe Clark, Managing Partner of the Financial Enhancement Group. Welcome to our Market Carver. I hope you're having a great week. You know, our prayers certainly go out, regardless of what I have to say about the market this week, for the people who were impacted in Boston, the little boy, the families that were hurt, the ones that just had their weeks changed and their lives maybe changed on a permanent basis. It is great to hear the stories in Boston, the way people have come together to try to help one another, but it's still a very, very challenging time. On top of that, of course, it was tax time. April 15th hit this week. One of the most challenging weeks, or tax seasons, I should say, for my friends in the accounting world and my partners up in Lafayette. Very, very interesting stuff with the fiscal cliff. Forms were delayed. That delayed everything. A lot of last-minute papers getting filed in terms of revisions on 1099s. Just an interesting time. So happy they made it through. Happy we made it through on April 15th, and the checks are cleared. We'll talk about that in a little bit on the segment. If you're new to the Market Carver, here's the deal. Every week we sit down, we have our allocation meeting. We manage money internally in-house. We have an allocation team with the CFA, myself, technicians on the market side. We come together to build what we call a four-legged stool. The process is very simple. Everything we own, we believe, needs to have at least 3 of 4 legs. If it does, we think it'll stand up under most storms. If it only has 2, your stool is going to fall over. And we want to make sure that we have good, secure things inside of our portfolio. So every week I bring you a couple updates on a couple of the legs just to give you an idea of what's happening. First leg we're going to talk about this week is the technical leg. You can see from this chart, the big part of it is the S&P 500 that's going, and it shows that the S&P 500 is clearly in an uptrend. That's a good news. The bad news is at the top, and it's not horrible news, but the bad news is the relative strength is losing a little bit of the air in the tires. That means that when the market is having challenges, and Lord knows this week has been anything but volatile, or non-volatile, I should say. Gold, worst day in over 30 recorded years. The issues from the Boston Marathon, the letters to the senators, just challenges that seem to be across. You have increased volatility, and we want to measure the strength of the market when that volatility occurs. Right now, we're starting to see some changes in some of the trends. Doesn't mean that we're going to go off a cliff. Just means the car may be moving a little bit toward a ditch, if you will. Moving to the next leg, sharp attack on the mutual fund industry. Anybody who's listened to my radio show, read my newspaper columns, knows that I'm not a fan of mutual funds because of the internal hidden fees and expenses. Well, Bill Sharpe, one of the people who won the Nobel Prize over modern portfolio theory, came out and just had a wonderful article that said as much as a third of your retirement could be eaten alive by fees inside of mutual funds that people simply aren't aware of. We're not talking about the commissions that you see. We're talking about the fees and expenses that are inside of those plans. It is very, very important that you understand that report. It's not 3% a year. It's over your retirement. A third of it could be eaten in fees and expenses that many people simply don't understand actually exist. And there are things that you can do about it. As I mentioned earlier, the gold was an issue this week for a lot of people. Many people buy gold because they feel like it belongs. They're worried about inflation. They're worried about the economic world. And so you've got a lot of people piling in. That drove the prices higher and higher and higher. And as my friend Adam Harder, our chief investment strategist at the firm, likes to say, we all believe we can be the first one out of a burning house. Well, on Monday, when we watched gold prices plummet over 9% in a day, across the board, and now clearly in bear market territory, the worst day recorded in over 30 years, you've got to begin to question some of those philosophies about what purpose gold serves and where you want to be able to use it. Well, now the taxes are filed. April 15th is passed. It's very, very easy to get frustrated over checks you had to write, to put the taxes in the drawer, to not worry about it again until next March or April. I would strongly encourage you folks to get the returns. Come in, have a cup of coffee, let's sit down and talk about it. You know, we do smart, tax-savvy investment strategies. As fiduciaries, we manage the money and we do the planning internally. I don't do tax returns. We do tax planning to help make sure that those numbers are right. Don't let yourself go for a whole nother year not paying attention to opportunities that are out there, whether they're in tax credits with 529s or Roth conversions, or simply figuring out how to harvest losses and control gains better. Let's have those conversations. If you're out and about Saturday morning, be sure you catch the radio show, WQME from 9 to 10. Sunday mornings on Shine 99 from 10 to 11. Of course, you can find our newspaper article on our website at yourlifeafterwork.com. Come, ask us questions. Happy to have you along. Folks, if there's anything we can do to be of service, please don't hesitate to let us know. God bless. Have a great week. We'll see you again soon.